Alright, so now I've got our collapsible working. Let's get our form in there. So let's hop back to Aptana. And we have a lot of the work done for us. In all honesty, we can pretty much get away with copying this entire form. So let's do that. Let's copy this. And here where that text is, get rid of that. Hit enter a couple times. And let's paste it in there. Need to bump that out just a little more. And we're going to need to change opened to list because we're using this query now. But everything else should be just fine. So everywhere where we see opened, change that to list. And you can really just copy this and paste it. Save that. Hop over to the page and refresh. You know, this inline form didn't really look good to begin with, the way we have it set up, so we don't really want it in this way in here either. So let's hop back over to Aptana. For the class, let's get rid of this dash inline. Save that. Go ahead and refresh the page. Now that's a little better. And let's hop back over to Aptana. Now where you see this class SR only, let's get rid of that for all of these. And what that stands for is screen reader only. So for like accessibility for people who are blind or something like that, it'll automatically read that label, just not show it. And that's why we didn't see the labels even though they were there. But now we actually want to see them. So once we have those removed, let's save. And refresh. Okay, that's looking a little better. Now we can probably save a lot of space here by putting some of these things together on the same line. So we can take advantage of the grid system and do that. Now actually we can take position out if we wanted to. Let's go ahead and do that because we're already using the sort in order to position them, so there's really no need to have that there. So here on line 45 to 50, let's just go ahead and get rid of that. There's actually another thing I want to add. So I think I'm changing my mind about the grouping thing since we got rid of position. Another thing we can do is change the size of the form field. So hop back over to the Bootstrap, and if we click on CSS and go to Forms, and down here to Control Sizing, I want to do input small, so input-sm. We just need to add that to the class. So next to form control on each one of these, just do input-sm. And we can just copy that. If you copy the space in there, also you don't have to add that. So just do Control V, Control V, Control V, and save that. Hop back over to our page and hit refresh. It's a little bit better. We're going to go ahead and leave it like this because I think at some point we're going to change this status to be something that you can just toggle on and off with a button. So that'll really shrink this down substantially. There's actually one more thing I want to do. I want to change this to a horizontal layout. So let's go over to Bootstrap. And we're already in control sizing here, so let's go to horizontal form. And we just need to change a couple of things and add one thing. We're basically going to take advantage of the grid, and we're going to change the class of the form. We had it as dash inline. We got rid of that. Now we're going to change it to dash horizontal. And if you read above here, what this does is basically eliminates the need to use the row class. It makes the form-group class behave just like a row. So all we really need to do is set up the columns. So we need to give the label a column size. Then we're going to add a div to wrap around each one of the inputs and give that a column size. So let's hop back over to Aptana. So we first need to do dash horizontal here on the form class. Then the labels need to have a class. And we're just going to do column. We're just going to mimic what they did. So small or SM-2. And they have this control label class, which we didn't have in the other form. Let's just go ahead and put that in there just for consistency. So control dash label, and let's just copy this whole class, and remember, get the space before class. So Control C, and I'll just paste that here for each one of these. And then we need to add the div. So after the label here on 26, do div, and hit enter, and we'll just drag our input into there. And let's take a look at that in Bootstrap. For this, it's just really just a container, and we're going to give it the column size. So we're using 2 for this one, so we're going to want to use 10. Class column small dash 10. And now what we can do is let's copy this opening div. Go to the end of each one of these labels and hit paste. And then we'll tab each one of these inputs out. And then we'll come up here and grab that closing div tag, copy that, and paste that below the input. And we'll just kind of tidy this up a bit. Save that. Go to our page, refresh. There we go. So we've saved a lot of space here by killing that line where the label was basically taking up a whole line for no reason. And then we're gonna at some point change the status to just be a button, and we'll set it, next to the save, or maybe over here on the far right. So we'll get this thing pretty slimmed down. But again, we can still drag and drop these while they're open, and this whole thing's getting pretty cool looking.